Hi and welcome to the first tutorial on Final Cut that I'll be making. My name's Anthony and today we're going to be talking about rendering. This tutorial is going to cover a few tips, the basics mainly, about rendering in Final Cut Pro and how to kind of cut down your times using it. So if you see, I've got my footage here on the timeline. So what you can see on the timeline right now is I've put a few clips, actually the same clip over and over again. I thought it'd be a bit odd if I'd put together a video especially just for rendering. Now above it you'll notice this green bar. Now the green bar represents that this is in preview mode, it's not been fully rendered. So of course you'd go to Sequence, Render All, and Both. And then your computer will render it out, which is nice. I mean, obviously it's very quick right now because I've got, what, 25 seconds of footage. But, of course, if you can cut down rendering time in any way, shape or form, then you're going to want to do that. So, let's take it back a step. So now we have that green bar again. So we're going to go to Sequence, Settings, and then when we go in, we're going to press Load Sequence Preset. Now, if you notice up at the top here where it says compressor, it says my footage is DVPAL and the actual timeline is DVNTSC. Now we want to change that so that the sequence is the same. So as it's picked here, we'll pick DVPAL 48KHZ. Now, look at the timeline when I press this and I press OK. Now you'll notice that the bar has gone exactly the same as when I would normally render out the footage, so after the render, which basically means that this footage no longer needs to be rendered on the timeline. It's completely easy to preview and you don't have to sit there rendering out. If I press Command R, then you notice there's no rendering time at all, and all you have to do is export your footage and it'll just export it for you, not a problem. I'll just name this Holiday Test Render, and as you can see, it's already rendering out. Now, something else you can do if you don't want to have to do this every time is you can go to your user preferences and you can prompt for settings on a new project. Now, if you have it set like this, and also if you always use the same camera, go to Easy Setup, choose the format you normally have, and press Setup. And that's also for connecting as well, so it'll make all your timelines the same as this. But if we take New Sequence, and say we had the wrong sequence settings, so there's the wrong ones on purpose, and we go on to that one, and I take this clip, and I put it on here. Now that we've pressed that in the preferences, do you want to change these settings to match the clips? And then you press yes, and now you no longer have to render that video. It's completely there, and there's no changes that are needed. And you won't have to render that at all again, just to prove that. There we go. So that's the basics of rendering, of how to cut a little time while using Final Cut Pro. This is my first tutorial, so I do apologise if I'm a bit nervous, as in I'm probably stumbling quite a bit, but if you would like any more help, feel free to go to antojones.com and drop me an email or send me a message on YouTube. Also, what would you like to see next covered in a tutorial? Because I don't want to do tutorials that are just for me, I want it to be for what people actually want. And I hope this was helpful. Until next time.